In this video, we're going to be using data from the Office for National Statistics, or ONS, to automate a geographical lookup. To access the data sources used in this video, we just need to go into Office for National Statistics Geo portal, or the Open Geography portal. If you come up to the top left of the screen here, you'll see the Boundaries section. You can then select from lots of different categories here. We're using the regions and the local planning authorities. Here we use KML files, but in hindsight it may have been better to use some shapefiles. This would remove the need for the joins right at the start of the workflow, because the KML files didn't actually contain the region names, but they did contain the boundaries themselves. You can use whatever you like, and you can just swap it out for what I'm doing. If we have a look at the data, we can see these are the English regions. So we've got 9 different regions here. And for the local planning authorities, we've got lots of different ones, which will lie inside the regions. For both the planning authorities and for the English regions, we're going to use the join tool to combine the name and the spatial object. If we look at the KML files, this data from ONS only contains the spatial object, but it doesn't actually give us the name of the region. And this is where the CSV comes in, because we can just join on the record ID. Here's the join tool. This can be found in the join section up here. We're just going to keep all columns in for now. And the same goes for the local planning authorities. The next step is to select the regions we need. Select tool can be found up here. I'm going to select region name, which is RGN20NM. We've renamed that to region. The spatial object we've renamed to region_spatial_object. And we're going to do something similar below as well. LPA21NM has been renamed to local planning authority. Spatial object has been renamed to LPA_spatial_object. Now that we have the name and the spatial object, we can now do a spatial match. These green tools can be found in the spatial section up here. This is a spatial match. For the configuration of this tool, we're going to have the regions going into the universe input and the LPA going into the target input. Generally, the universe input will be the larger regions. These will be the smaller regions. And we'll select here the LPA spatial object to be the spatial object field. This will be the only option. And the region spatial object to be the spatial object field for the universe. We want to select where the target intersects the universe, and we'll keep all the columns the same. If you look at this, these are the areas that I've matched up. So what we can see here is that we get one region, one planning authority that's overlapped several different regions. Now, one issue with the datasets we have just now is that one of the files is from a different year than the other. So the regions from one file are updated in 2021, but the boundaries are from 2020. So they might be slightly off. This here though isn't too much of an issue. You can create an intersection between the planning authority and the region, which gives us a new spatial object. The settings for this is just the only ones we can select, the LPA spatial object and the region spatial object. We're just going to create an intersection. Once we have this intersection, we can then find the area. Because we've got lots of areas in the UK rather than just England, we're going to get areas that match up, which shouldn't necessarily be in there, like the places on the lower half of Scotland or areas on the east side of Wales. In this one, we just select the spatial object process and select the area, square miles. The next step is just to convert the area from a float to a fixed decimal. Then use the Summarize tool to be found in the Transform section. We'll group by the local planning authority and take the maximum area. What this is doing is it's taking the maximum intersection between the local planning authority and the region. Once we've done this, we can then move on to the join, where we'll join the max area square miles to the area. The only columns we will be keeping here is the local planning authority and the region, since it is just going to be a lookup in the end. We can see here on the join output, we've got the local planning authority and the region. Now I've scrolled down slightly here because we've got some regions which shouldn't necessarily be in here, because we've only got the English regions, but we've also got a few Scottish and Welsh ones as well, just because of how the boundaries are set. And the final step is to create an output. You can create whatever kind of output you want, so it could be a CSV or a workbook or an Alteryx database. So this completes the workflow, and I hope you found this useful.